I keep on hearing, I can't think of her name off of Peace. How y'all doing? This is Star with the Star Blooms. I can't think of her name off of Princess and the Frog. The the girl who has the daddy who's always doing stuff for her. She's like, tell him, tell her, like that. Tell her what you did, Big Daddy, like that. And I heard Spirit say, tell them why. Tell them why you at this rate. Sometimes we've proclaimed our allegiance to all the wrong shit, and then we get with the Most High and we don't want to proclaim who it is that we stand with and stand for. And the reason is because you got all these fake ass Bible thumpers and fake ass religious people. And I say fake ass is because they don't even actually hold the line for what it is that they say, and they coach and they condition and petition to be for. They aren't what they claim you are so against. You get what I'm saying? They aren't even that. You get what I'm saying? Lo and behold, you didn't know that half the people that's sitting, and this is not all churches, y'all. Y'all got to learn how to listen with divine insight and ears that perceive what is being said. You got to think about it like this: the Most High gives you a prescription for you to be able to see. All right. And what I recognize, I heard Natty, she's on social media everywhere. She amazing. I kept on hearing her say God did not give them the prescriptions so they could not see you. And I remember sitting, like it's been a year now since I heard her say that. I remember sitting and talking to Spirit, and I was basically saying within Spirit, how is it that you would have me? Because I was aware of where I had been at. I wasn't in a space to where I actually perceived love. I was searching, and I was going to a rate to where I was always wanting to find a home to keep. Y'all, when you an adolescent and you've been abandoned in any way and rate, you have this circumference of dwindling around you. It's like you warp yourself in unworthiness and unfavorable measure. You believe that you're the problem, you're the reason, because you've been conditioned in spaces where other people were chosen when it should have been you. You've been conditioned at race where other people were applauded for when it was actually your turn and it was actually your space to actually receive that validation. You start to get shunned away so much that you'll go through the world wanting and needing everybody to show up and be your friend, be your family, be your lover. You'll sit and you'll discount yourself at a rate to where you will not actually perceive what it is that you've done. Just how decent of a measure you've chose with yourself. And only the bold and the brave could truly sit at a space where at every turn they prayed and they got what they needed to be able to move forward. But at every turn you chose to be on the other side. You chose against yourself at every turn. You decided that there were other things that were better off having the things that you required because you needed to be in the rate of experiencing that which you were sacrificing for. Spirit said to me, tell them who you sacrificing for this time. And I'm like, but Big Mama, I'm not. Tell them why they won't be able to walk back in the door this time. But Big Mama, I'm sitting here, but tell them why it is that no means no. And it will continue to be no. Tell them what I said is what Big Mama told me. So I'm gonna be swift and I'm gonna be direct. Y'all have to understand when you start to healing, you're gonna get some gnosis about yourself. And what's gonna happen is that because you know some shit, you're gonna get in a crowd of people, and usually we don't recognize that there's so many entities that are wrapped around and that are, like I said, the circumference, this the yummy spot that a lot of people keep in their behavior, in their mannerisms, in their actions, in their how they're showing up. There's a lot of narcissists that lives in these families, y'all. There's a lot of narcissists that have been sitting at the head, and a lot of them have been put in a position to where they even have to be at this space where they give the recompense that's necessary. And Big Mama said that at some point you got to be at the rate to where, just like you stood and you cheered for all of the things that came to those who knew what was yours, who knew how you required, who knew how you cried, who knew that they should not have, who knew there was better options that could have been made, who knew. You sat and you played and you've been the audience. You've been the audience for people who meant and desired to seek you at a specific rate where you would become delinquent and inefficient. You've been in spaces that made you be inadequate. Had it not been for the Most High, a lot of y'all wouldn't even be at this rate. And sometimes we be praying and we wonder why when we pray, why things aren't what we need them to be. We wonder why when we pray, why things aren't what we're desiring for, what we're asking for. We wonder why we can't actually have receipt of what it is. It's because each time I gave it to you, you gave it to somebody else. This time it will be different. And you have to recognize it's not about what you're going to get. It's more so, y'all, about what it is that you haven't had because of what you kept on surrendering to, what you allowed yourself to be in the company of. When you start to know some stuff, y'all, and you dealing with these tyrants, a lot of these tyrants don't recognize that the patriarch that they've allowed themselves to be comforted in this idea that there's this woman's place. A lot of men don't like women supposedly who have education and who know too much. A lot of men don't like it that they can't lie to your face. And like I said, Big Mama said, I am here for the integrity of my daughters. And when it comes to the reality of the truth, a lot of people are sitting in these spaces dealing with NPAs. What is it called? NPCs, non-playable characters. You dealing with a rate of a person that's a shell. And you've allowed yourself, like I said, to be binded in these contracts, in these relationships, in these agreements, binded in these friendships, binded to these family members. And you get so caught up wanting to be on the side of the thing that has convinced you of your lower self, right? That has convinced you of what isn't a challenge. We want to take the easy way out because we feel like a soft life means you being ignorant and low achieving, low desiring for, low asking for. But from the history that I know of, from the books that I've been able to actually ascertain access to, from the places that I've been able to go and actually reach into the depths of, there's nothing but women who are out here running nations. There's nothing but divine feminine energies who cultivated and actually kept up and had what needed to be had. And it was never something that they did per permission, right? I'm comfortable saying wholeheartedly, nah, I'm not in a space where I'm speaking to a so-called God that I could name. I'm speaking to the Most High. And it might be a situation to where a lot of people start to allow themselves to be quiet on what they don't know and to be cool-headed in spaces where people come in giving them some whys that they haven't received. To be appreciative in a space and a rate to where you get to actually have the company of something divine in your presence. To be at a space and a rate to where you stop, chosen one, apologizing for what your energy do and what work it means. Big Mama said, tell them who you here for. And let it be so. My whole phone just died. And I'm over here, I'm 422. My whole phone just died and I'm over here. Am I supposed to go home? I'm over here supposed to 911. Big Mama said, tell them and let it be so. We don't got to care about the retribution of what physically could come when you actually set up and you connected up to something that got you. That ain't going to let you down. That ain't going to drop the ball when it comes to you. You are not abandoned in the presence of the Most High. You are divinely kept. Every tear has been water and nourishment to the garden that you will reap. Understand that. Tell them Whose side you on? Big Mama said. Speak up. Tell them. You chose a side. Now be that. Tell them.